Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of my Barbarian Assault Beginner Defender Guide. In this video I'm going to teach you guys the basics of multi-killing. So I'm not going to go into all the details and give in-depth explanations about why or how multi-killing works because it's not super necessary and it can be kind of complicated. But what I am going to mention is that runners operate on a 10 tick cycle. So a tick is 0.6 seconds and every tick something happens in the game. A runner cycle is 6 seconds. 10 ticks, right? So it's 6 seconds. Every cycle, the runner repeats the same process. So, he searches for food, walks, or eats the food. Those are different things that will happen in the cycle. It's not important to know what exactly happens or on what tick, but what you do need to know is that one of the ticks in the runner cycle is called the multi-kill tick. It's called that because on this tick and on that tick only, if the food a runner has targeted gets eaten, it will automatically retarget another food. So you might see where this is going, but if you stand on top of the trap food like I showed in the last video, essentially blocking runners from eating and dying at the trap, and you wait for runners to accumulate beside you, you can force the runners to move and eat on that multi-kill tick, which kills all of them at once, assuming you have enough food. This is useful for a few reasons. Mainly it saves a lot of time having to fix the trap, which would otherwise only be able to kill 2 runners before needing to be fixed, and also it speeds up the process of killing runners and helps prevent runners crashing, which I also explained in the prior video. For those of you who don't remember crashing, crashing happens when a runner is walking and has his food eaten, and not during the multi-kill tick, then the runner stops and can sometimes walk away or just slow down your game. Anyways, you're probably asking like, okay, but how can I know when this multi-kill tick is? And there's 2 main methods to know this. The first method is harder, but it's kind of foolproof if you get it down, and that's just counting ticks. And the multi-kill tick happens 10 ticks after a runner starts moving. So if you start counting ticks, which is counting at 100 beats per minute, you'll count to 10. But since it takes 2 ticks to move away, 1 tick for your click to register and 1 tick to actually move over one spot, and it also takes a 3rd tick for the runners to move from their spot to the food, that's 3 extra ticks. So you need to count 3 ticks before that. So when you're counting, after the runner starts moving, between the 7th and the 8th tick is when you have to move away. And I will show you an example in a second, but basically you want to think that the 0th tick is like this exact tick when the runner starts moving. 1 tick after he starts moving, that's when you should be counting 1. And then when you get to 7, between 7 and 8 is when you should be clicking. So I'll show you an example of that right now. So now you see my last runner has just got out of the cave and he went east, so he's stuck on the wall. So now I'll count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And as long as you click between the 7th and the 8th tick, the multi-kill like that will always work. So that's one method of getting multi-kills. The second method, which is easier to learn and more widely used, is looking at visual cues. So if you know where a runner is when they start their cycle, instead of counting to that 7th tick, you can kind of like get the same pattern and predict where the runner will be when the multi-kill tick starts. So basically, instead of counting, you would just wait till the runner gets to that spot on the map, and that's when you would know to click. The only downside of this is runners can start their cycles from different spots depending on how you play. But if you set up your food correctly, like I showed in my last video, there should only be 3 different spots a runner can start their cycle from. But if you do make mistakes, you might end up with a runner in a different spot, which can throw off your timing. So now I'll show you guys examples of the 3 main spots runners will start their cycle from, and when you should click to move away to trigger a multi-kill. Okay, so there's 3 directions a runner can go in: south, east, or west. South is the most common, east is the second most common, and west is the least common direction. A runner will always pick one of these 3 directions when they spawn. So this is what happens when they go east. He just gets stuck on the wall. If a runner goes south, they will stop at this spot, just right here, just south of the spike. And that's what it looks like if a runner goes west. They will stop right here, just a little bit east of the logs. And if you do have the main stack, they will come back right here. So if the runner goes south, the 7th tick will happen when he bounces off this cannon. So the 7th tick happens right when he reaches the cannon, and the 8th tick happens when he completely reaches this tile here. So you need to click away from the main stack right when he twists his body. So you'll see it again. Right when he twists his body is when you'd want to click. Like that. So if the runner goes west from his spawn, after one cycle, he will come back to the main stack, and it depends if you put your main stack here or here. I put mine here, and the difference if you put it here will just be one different spot. But it's basically when he goes from this tile to this tile, which is the same column as the south runner. The south runner is when he goes from this corner tile to this tile, like right there. And if he goes west, then it's between this tile and this tile. So it's basically the same thing. It's this column and this column. So if the runner goes east, you're going to want to do the multi-kill between that column and this column. So as you saw, it was when I think he moved from this tile to this tile, or this one to this one. Either way, it's when he moves from this column to this column. So you might have noticed so far the trend, and it's the same column for all of them. So if you put your main stack on this spot right here, one east of this one, you will have to do to click away to multi-kill while the runner is moving between this one and this one. If the runner goes south, you will need to click away from the main stack between this tile and this tile, which is the same columns. And the same thing happens if the runner goes east. It's this column and this column. So as a rule of thumb, you can always just look for when the runners pass from this column to this column. The only exception is if you do put your main stack in this spot here, which most people do, it will actually be one spot west of that. So it'll be from when he's moving from this tile to this tile. So here's a south multi-kill. My last runner just spawned and he went south. So I'm gonna click to move away from my spot as he twists his torso on the wall right there. And that's the multi-kill. So here's an example of an east multi-kill. So as you can see at the top, my last runner just went east, got stuck on the wall, and right as he goes over that spike, I'm going to click right there. The first two die, and then the third one comes right after. And that's the east multi-kill. Now this is the least likely of the three scenarios, but if your last runner does go west off the spawn, he will go back to the main stack, and the multi-kill is one tile north of the south multi-kill, but it's in the same columns. So right here in the transition between those two columns, you would click, and that's how you would get a west multi-kill. So wave 10 is a little bit different for multi-kill because the last runner comes from a different spot and the food is at a different spot. You just wait one tick after he stops moving, and then now you click. And that's how you do the multi-kill on wave 10. The last runner almost always comes from right on top, so if they go south, which is usually what they do, you just wait one tick after the runner stops moving on top of you, and then you move, and that's the multi-kill. So now I'll show you what to do when your last runner is a crashed runner that goes east. So right there, our runner that was going to the trap just crashed, and now it went south and it hit the wall. Now it's going to go back to the main stack, and sometimes it will go south. If it does go south, it's the same thing as a westie, but right there it goes east. And this is a unique multi-kill. Basically, it's the tick right before it touches you. Click. Right there. So while it's moving onto the tile that's right north to you, that's when you would click it. You want to click it before the runner touches you, and that's how you would do that. If instead your crashed runner goes south after going to the main stack, it's at a different multi-kill. So there, we just got another crashed runner, and he goes back to the main stack. This time though, instead of going east, it goes south, and it's the same as a normal south or a normal south multi-kill, except you don't see his body turning. So you kind of got to see when he hops from that. It's the same place, same multi-kill as the south. It's when he goes from the northeast corner of the cannon to moving onto the tile beside it. It's just you don't see his torso turning, but it's the same thing as a south multi-kill. It's the same two columns anyways. So sometimes your last runner will actually come from south of the trap. This can happen if you make a mistake and one of your runners goes south. So in this example, I miss the multi-kill and the last runner goes south, and then I have to count ticks to make sure I get the multi-kill. So I wait for them to start to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's the multi-kill from south. So if you miss your multi-kill, one trick that you can do is actually just to walk one spot south. So here we miss the multi-kill, but instead we block the runners from going south, and on the next cycle they will multi-kill each other. As long as there's a charge left on the trap, it will work. And this isn't foolproof because if your runners do go east or west, instead of going south, they won't be blocked, and you will miss the multi-kill, or you will miss at least some of the runners. So that's it for the video. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you did learn something from this. I know it's a lot to take in. Maybe if you need to, watch the clips again and just really see when I am clicking. And it is always in the transition between two tiles. It's between the two ticks, right? Because your click is always going to register on the next tick. So as long as you get your click before that tick, that is when that's when it's gonna work. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I do have a third video for this guide, which is going to be on luring healers. I don't know if I'll make that one soon, but it's not really as important for defender gameplay. So if you really get the past two videos down, then you'll be on your way to being a really good defender. And of course, if you do have any other questions, or you do you want me to clarify on something, just leave a comment or message me in game or anything, and I'll be more than willing to answer your questions. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.